Every day we're told to do more. Get in better shape, make a budget, start a side hustle, learn a language. Oh, but don't forget about self-care. Meditate. Manage your burnout. Even our sleep now is tied to a growth mindset.
Stay hard!
But what would happen if I just didn't? I am exhausted. A growth mindset is great, and I love that I'm a hard worker. It's something I pride myself in, but I just realized I'm never just like being. I always have to find flaws in myself. Everything is just a state of self-improvement. Everything from my workout to my relationships to my recovery. Like I literally try to improve my downtime. So I wanted to know what would happen if I just didn't for 30 days. And day one, I already failed. Turn open my podcast to listen to some Andrew Huberman one. It's about microplastics. And then I already started Googling. I just went down a whole wormhole of how I have to change my whole life because I'm dying of microplastic. And I was like, wait, no. I had this aha moment. I'm constantly trying to optimize every single second of my life, including my rest. In my morning, enjoy my coffee, writing my to-do list. Walk to work, listen to educational podcast. Work all day, but make sure on my breaks I call a loved one. Work more, walk home as I research videos. Watch TV, but you should be really journaling, yada, yada, yada. And I think you're the same if you're listening to this because you're somehow in the self-help or fitness algorithm. We constantly have that list, you know the list of, oh, I should learn a new language. Oh, I should meditate. Okay, the to-do list that just grows and you add it to the next day and just grows and grows and grows and it's never ending. There's more things I need to do and it's just like, what happened if I just didn't? And that's what this month is. My hardest challenge yet, bed rotting. Here's the rules. I'm only allowed to do things that are already habits. Like if it's suddenly I'm like, oh, I would love to try that new, nope, that's gone. I can still brush my teeth. I can still go to the gym when it's in my routine. I can still go to work. I still go to sleep. Like the whole premise of this is just to like rely on the habits I've already built and just see what would happen. 30 days of like no growth mindset, just being. Because for whatever reason, us type A's in the self-improvement, self-help, just like don't trust ourselves that like if we don't constantly doing more and more and more and more, we're just gonna fall off. We've spent so long building all these habits. What happens if we just acknowledge we've built these habits and live? Like, will I go off the deep end? Will it all fail? Do I constantly need to be growing? Or like, can I just sit back and enjoy? Maybe this is what I need. We'll find out. So it's day number 2 of doing nothing. And I've already caught myself trying to do stuff. This is just the constant guilt I have is I was just listening to this podcast and one was talking about diaphragm breathing. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't do diaphragm breathing. Ooh, YouTube video challenge of how to properly breathe because I'm not properly breathing and I'm doing this and this. And it's just like my mind's constantly doing that, which is good. But there's only so much we can do. And so I had to be like, Keltie, you are not working on your breathing this month. And I just enjoyed the podcast and don't have a feeling of guilt right now that I'm not breathing properly. Because I'd be dead. Day number 3, instead of having a crazy productive Sunday, I just went and had a fika with my friends. And all we simply did was enjoy cappuccino and cardamom bun and yap. And I won't lie, after it, I felt a little antsy. I had to get things done. But at the same time, I felt rejuvenated starting Monday, which I guess is kind of the point of this all. So the first week, I won't lie, I failed this constantly. Every single day I would listen to a podcast, just my ritual podcast, and I kept writing like, oh, let's do this, let's do. But I just have to keep bringing myself back. Like, no, you're just being. You're just enjoying life. You're just enjoying what you've done. On day 7, I was listening to a podcast that Dr. Mike was on. The whole podcast was about recovery. And he was talking about how type A people are constantly asking, like, how do I recover more? Like, what more do I need to do? What things do I need to add in? And his answer to them is always the same, do less. And that hit me like a rock. Oh my God. I can't remember the last time I had this feeling, but you know that feeling of like, you sat at home all day. You haven't done anything. You slept in. You're antsy. You want to go to, that means you're recovered. That's not a bad thing. Like that means the antsy feeling of like, oh, I'm bored. Let's get up. Let's do things that you're ready to go. I don't do that. I don't remember the last time I just sat at home for hours. When you're pushing yourself, those moments, it's not a thing to feel guilty about. That's like a cha-ching, you did it, right? You're recovered. So new plan with this challenge is learn to be bored. Figure out how. Just be. Going into week 2, I don't think I fully embraced this. I think I was just kind of going through the motions and I was still in my routine and like I was still go. And I told myself like, oh, I'm doing this challenge and I'm doing nothing. And just, this is the challenge, dude. But it was still, I hadn't fully hit it and something was brewing. And I didn't know it until Halloween. I'm going to say a trigger warning about trigger warnings. I will put a timestamp here of where you skip it. If you're someone who's really triggered by mental health episodes, please skip this part of the video. I go through a mental health crisis. Yeah. I'm just so mad at myself right now. And maybe I'll help someone else, because this is hopefully just a lesson to me. One day I can look back. Come Halloween, I decided to curl my hair like Sabrina Carpenter. I don't know how to curl my hair. I don't have a curling iron. I was going to buy a curling iron, but then I was like, you know what? It's actually just cheaper to go get a blowout for like $50 and have my hair curled. It was great. I loved it. It looked good. But something started happening in the middle of the hair curling. The individual doing my hair, this is nothing against them. They don't know my story. They don't know anything about my tie. If you guys have watched me for a long time, you know my hair has a lot of deep feelings towards, let's just say, because I had 2 episodes in my life where I lost my hair. And when my hair is wet, you have to be really, really gentle with it. And this person wasn't. I don't think they were really educated in my hair type. And I should have spoke up. But in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm just not used to someone else brushing my hair. I saw the brush and there was clumps gone. And I was like, that's a lot of my hair. I'm like, I don't lose that much hair when I brush my hair. Then they started blow drying my hair and curling it. And then I was on my phone, so I wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh, they didn't put any heat protecting on my hair. And I have very light, fine hair. So you really have to be gentle with it. And you also need protecting things if you're going to do any heat on it. The hair looked great after. I was very happy. And the next morning I woke up and there was a pit in my stomach. If you've ever lost your hair, had a haircut, when you like hold your ponytail and it's just not there? Yeah, that happened. Like just right now grabbing it, I'm like, it's clear just looking back at photos from like last week, how much volume is gone. Like I'd say like a quarter to a third of my hair is gone. And looking back now, I can look back at it with a bit more sanity, but in the moment, I know we say like, oh, trigger all the time on social media, but like I've never experienced like a true trigger like that, like something that triggered me to go down like a mental health, like, oh, it's even emotional talk. I've never experienced something like that in my life, where I think it was so drastic, so unexpected. I was a little empty because clearly I was burnt out at the beginning of this challenge. I just didn't want to say it. I was also probably had some anxiety, didn't sleep that much that weekend because of Halloween. Just feeling that missing gap of where clearly some hair was pulled out and at the end some things had been fried off. I went down a spiral. Like it's just hair, but like I said, you guys know, like just it's a real big symbol of my health for me. And I've worked so hard. And just in one decision, just to have my hair curled for like a stupid Halloween, it feels like it's all gone. Quick context without giving you my entire life story. I've lost my hair 2 times in my life. Once when I was in my early 20s, I was in a dark spot. We don't need to get into it. Just pretty much my whole life was destroyed and uprooted and everything changed, and I was in a very, very, very dark place and got very stressed, lost my hair. And my whole identity growing up, like if someone had to describe me as like, oh, Keltie, she's the long blonde athlete. Like that was me. That was what I was known for. And at the same time, I'd blown out my knee, couldn't play basketball, was losing my hair, and it was like a major identity crisis when I was like 19, 20. And I was like, everything I am is going away. Time was COVID. I decided to no longer rely on the band-aid of hair extensions I got in, and I took them out and they destroyed my hair. And so I had to go through this like ugly duckling phase of growing out my hair. And ironically, like I don't think that was triggering, but at that exact same time COVID happened, I was alone in Toronto. I had no family or just a few friends, but I pretty much went 3 months without touching a human or living being. And my partner, we were trapped in different countries, so we couldn't see each other for a year. So it was a very, very dark time for me, as it was for many people. But it was like instantly feeling that just brought back like all those feelings. And it was just like, oh my God, am I going down that path again? And it was a major trigger. Just a classic influencer crying and picks up the camera, but I haven't stopped crying for like 2 days. So it's just like, if I'm gonna film, I'm gonna be crying. I am incredibly triggered. Like, I know we overuse that word, but like, I've never experienced something like this. Of just one moment just making me spiral. My mental health, it's gone. I'm really not okay right now. Like, even just tell me, it's so hard to look at myself right now. And there's gonna be so many comments like, it's just hair. I know. I spent the next few days getting back to my usual workouts that feel good, sleeping and eating, both which were pretty hard because my anxiety was so bad. Hardest part was it being something I couldn't control. There was literally nothing I could do. I can't change the past, so I had to sit in the uncomfortableness that was the challenge. Nothing, and just being patient. So I'm off to go get my hair done. Chris Weber in Vancouver, I owe him everything. And hopefully he can give me good news about this. There's nothing I can do. It's out of my control. I just have to be. I've thought 1,000 times of like what I'm gonna say. I'm even trying to control what I'm gonna say. Just have to be. Hair is feeling better and more me. I feel this has been the epitome of like things out of your control. Just breathe, get through it. Yeah, there's a lesson here. Oh God, but I feel better. I feel a little silly, but I think there's some trauma I need to unpack there. Oh God. So my hair is back. It's feeling better. There was definitely a chunk gone, but looking back, I think I was just quite empty at the start of this challenge, and that's probably why my hair was so triggering. Yeah, you're burnt out. I'd built up too much, and I think you just shove things down, so when you got a trigger, it just like purged and it came. And actually, I think it was a good thing. Like sometimes we just need those outlets, and if I was constantly distracting myself, and I think growth mindset and doing more is often a distraction from just the things you need to deal with, and I am very guilty of that. And it was eye-opening of like, I just need to be and let things out. I think I was bottling up a lot of things and it just purged. And honestly, after a week of crying, it felt really good. I definitely wasn't good to myself that week. I had no appetite, I couldn't sleep, which was a vicious cycle. And then I was scared of my hair. And so it was a very bad week, but it was almost like looking back, I'm really happy I went through it because it was kind of like, it was a sigh, it was a release, it was needed. Okay, here's my really dumb life hack, which might only be relevant to like 3% of you. To my ladies that live alone, it's all about romanticizing because it's a little depressing if you think too much about it. So what I do to just, this is so dumb, but I do it and maybe someone else will enjoy this. To romanticize my life, anytime in the month of November or December that I buy something online, I put it under the tree, even if it's just for a minute, and then I unbox it. Just, romanticize your life. I'm like, ooh, Santa left me something that I definitely impulse purchased. Wow, so pretty. Like, this should be under the tree, but I want to open it now. So there's a little tip, just even for a minute. I'm like, oh my God, Santa got me something. No. This isn't sponsored in any way. I want to invest in like a couple really nice Christmas dresses because that's a very timeless thing. And I see all the influencers get these House of CB I've never bought, but I'm going to review these for you right now. Quick little review. House of CB is cute, practical, worth it. Okay, dress one, so unbelievably cute. I'm obsessed, but I don't know if it will tie up. I need someone else here, but I think my rib cage is too big for it. Big rib cage, little boob problems. Corsets are very hard to buy for because if I get one for my rib cage, it's gonna be all this extra padding. Oh, this is so cute. I wanna love it. I don't know. This is also shopping, gambling. Like when I go out, I'll get my girlfriend to tie it, but then that's risking it. Does it actually fit me? I don't know. We'll see. Same issue. It's so cute, doesn't fit. I want to wear these this weekend. Iffy. House of CB. Big rib cage girls, size up a lot. Darn it! Cute. Doesn't fit. Now, ironically, my entire Instagram was those like the trend that's going around on Reels right now of like, how lucky am I to have taxes to pay? How lucky am I to have a messy kitchen from cooking dinner? How lucky am I to be sore from my workout? Like, it's very much like that frame. You've probably seen it. And ironically, the only thing that really helped me through this trigger was just being like, oh my God, Keltie, you have it so good. If this is the worst thing in your life, like the hair, was just kind of like, I have my family. I don't know, something about it, just like gratitude really started to just naturally happen to me in the third week. So something funny's happened. Peter Attia went on Colin and Samir.
You would never shoot a video and just load it without editing it, but that's what many people are doing in their lives.
And that might not mean anything to anyone, but to me, that is the Avengers. It's creative YouTube and fitness YouTube coming together as one. And you think I would have been like, this is my Super Bowl. I'm watching, I put it off. It happened 2 weeks ago and I still haven't watched it. I couldn't listen to it because it was like this lack of desire I had for creativity and fitness. And I don't know what it is, but I kept putting it off. And I honestly wouldn't have listened to it except it just like came on cue. Like Apple Podcasts, it just played it for me next. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll listen to it. And oh boy, did I need to hear that. Because guess what Peter Attia talked about? Creator burnout.
Like if the joy from the thing you're supposed to be doing is gone, that's probably a sign that you're burning out.
Oh boy, no one wants to hear this. No one wants to hear this. That's why I don't even, but I'm trying to think, like, I think burnout is really common. Like I have this thing of like, oh, don't talk about burnout as a YouTuber, but it's just natural. I think it's things that happen from anyone from just like a stay-at-home mom to an ER nurse. Like I see it in the comments, a lot of you burn out. Even though you're not a YouTuber, I think this will really resonate with you with what he said because wow, it hit me like a train. I think creators are really prone to burnout and that was such a thing on YouTube several years ago. And actually now I think it's just general population is like, there's no off switch. I think we all start working at home. A lot of people have, businesses now. It's just like a lot more common not to just go into the work and leave and that's it. You can constantly be working at all times thanks to these things. Like it doesn't matter. It's so many jobs that you can just get emails at 2 a.m. And what is a sign of burnout? Now there's a lot of conflicting things, but I think a simple one we can all resonate with is just like a lack of desire to do what you do. And Casey Neistat also was quoted saying, and this is the one that hit me, burnout is a creative output without direction. And I'm realizing like as much as I'm in denial of it, I think I am, just definitely burnt out because I enjoy what I do. And like for me, one, just like my lack of desire to like want to sign up for a race for running. Two, I think just not wanting to work on music. Like I think after graduating from music production school, I was just so burnt out. Like I took on so much to be able to accomplish that in a year on top of YouTube. And so when I was done, I was like, it was almost this like disdain of seeing music now as like now it has to be work instead of just like enjoyment. And ironically, this doing nothing is exactly the protocol he would have recommended for overcoming burnout. Because another thing of burnout is just dopamine depletion. Our bodies really work to try and create an equilibrium. Like if your body's always within a certain pH, a body temperature, if it goes too much or too low, you'll die. Now dopamine's one like that. If you're inside like pain, like exercise, cold exposure or anything, your body produces dopamine to offset that pain. And that's why after you do cold exposure, you feel really good. Versus the dopamine you get with like gambling and social media, it's so high that your body, to counteract how much high this dopamine is, it drops you below, and that's where it can really lead to this depressive state. And I think I've just been prone of the last little while of like, whether it be social media, music, it's like on my phone and doing more, and it's like this constantly elevated thing of dopamine that when I crash even lower. And so I think it's really looking for those like healthy dopamine things. And I don't really have a solution right now. I'm just working through this, but I just thought it'd be interesting to just talk about that, and maybe it won't resonate with anyone, but those are some things I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I need to work on that. But ironically, the doing nothing is working on that. But I'm trying not to do anything, but oh boy. Now going into my last week, this was actually really cool. It was how important those healthy habits are and how much you can trust yourself once you've built them. It's a really cool thing. And this is why I've always been so obsessed with habits, is it almost becomes hygiene. I don't have to tell you, most of you at least, to brush your teeth every day. You just do it in autopilot. Like there's just habits we've built. And I think sometimes we don't realize like how much work we've put in for many years, especially if you're watching fitness YouTube right now. Like you have so many habits built up. And I don't think we sit back and like congratulate congratulate ourselves and just like acknowledge what we've done. Like I've gotten to a place in my life now where a lot of my healthy habits are autopilot. I saw TikTok talking about this the other day, is like considering working out like a hygiene. And that's almost how I describe it. Like as you slowly build a habit, you start small and you build it. Just start with like 5 minutes and continuously do it. And it just becomes a part of your routine. You don't have to have any willpower. Like there's no willpower for working out with me. It's just something that happens. And I know that's frustrating to say if you're someone who isn't there yet. I wasn't always like that. It was just became repetition over time, just like brushing your teeth. You don't sit there every night and be like, ooh, should I brush my teeth or not? And occasionally, yeah, you just don't brush your teeth. But for the most part, it just happens. You just do it. And I think working out is like that. Like for me, it's working out, sleeping enough, drinking enough water. There are all these like autopilot things. Like I don't have to think about, oh, should I drink water or not? It's just like autopilot, part of my routine, and I'm hydrated. Speaking of hydration, electrolytes, like that's a part of my routine that is always in there. I don't have to think about every day, should I take it or should I not? Because it's a part of my routine and a habit I've built that I genuinely enjoy, which is a bonus. And hydration isn't just drinking enough water, it's also getting enough electrolytes. Because once again, if you're on fitness YouTube, you're working out, so you probably need some kind of electrolyte supplementation. And for me, it's Element because of its science-based ratio of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I love it because it's really helped with that. Muscle cramps I used to get when working out, I no longer get that. It helps with energy. And first of all, it tastes delicious. It's such a nice habit to build. So that's actually another tip about building healthy habits. Just make them enjoyable, because then you want to do it, whether that's wearing a cute outfit to get you to the gym or making your bed really cozy or having electrolyte that tastes delicious. They have like a special edition one they come out with, this like chocolate medley every holiday season. Oh my God, guys, it's so good. There's a peppermint chocolate, there's a chai, there's a raspberry, and just leaning into the season, as you know, is something I always try to do and which makes things more enjoyable. And so you just add this to some hot water and it tastes like a peppermint mocha. Oh my God, it's so good. And of course, I'm not just going to talk about this and not give you guys a promo of some sort. So if you go to drinklmnt.com/Keltie, you'll get one of their sample packets with your purchase. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share with a salty friend. Once again, that's drinklmnt.com/Keltie. Thank you, Element, for sponsoring this video. And back to healthy habits. No, not healthy habits. Doing nothing, the opposite. Oh God. Day 24, I've been doing singing. I've been trying to learn a Sabrina Carpenter song. And this is another thing that I realized in the last few months, I've really been kind of putting off doing music. I felt really guilty because like I graduated and I thought I was going to go and try and release albums and And like I realized I never even gave myself place to like, what does making music mean to you? Is it a hobby? Is it something you want to pursue? Do you want to be a producer? Do you want to be a singer? Like what do you want? I just know I love music and now I do know how to produce my own music, which is really cool. But like, I don't even know what my sound is. And I think it was just like, just drilling and you have to do this and practice and practice and practice. And like, I almost lost the complete joy of it. I was like, maybe I have to take a step back. Maybe singing will be a hobby. Maybe it is something to produce, but like with something creative, I think I just have to acknowledge that I was burnt out of making music, but that doesn't mean I hate it. I think that's a big realization as an adult specifically of like, when you lose the desire of something you once loved, is it because you're burnt out? You need space from it. And I think last month I've just really been enjoying Sabrina Carpenter. And so I was like, let's learn to sing like Sabrina Carpenter. And so I have been, and it's just brought in so much joy back into music for me. It's making me want to write more songs and just sing and just learn more about music in general. Yay, that's nice. Yeah. But I think having that space away from it is what reminded me how much, like I naturally was drawn back to it. And I think that says a lot. I think that's a good indicator for me is like when you're burnt out from something and you step away and you have no desire to ever go back to it, I think that was a sign you were maybe going down the wrong path. But if you take a break from it and you just naturally end up going back to it, that's how you know you're doing something that you truly enjoy. But you were just ironically burnt out from it. And you can be burnt out from things you absolutely love. And if you don't believe me, just eat, say, cinnamon buns. Cinnamon buns are my favorite food. If I ate cinnamon buns every day, every meal, yeah, I would hate it. And I think we have to remember that, or at least I need to remind myself of that. Another thing is just rest. I think rest is a funny thing for me because it has been so optimized by growth mindset and fitness. And it's just like optimize sleep and recovery, And the irony, if you're like constantly doing it just for optimization, that kind of makes it hard to do. Like self-care is really important, but it's also now been monetized, as we saw in my self-care video, is what is self-care? What is self-maintenance? And like, what's true rest? And I think near the end of this, self-care it didn't look like my makeup routine and my beauty routine and my skincare routine or face masks. It really came down to like taking on less projects, saying no, not just constantly be like, do more and do more. It's like, just show up and do what you've been doing every day, a little bit more towards the things you want to go on. You don't have to have these grand, big projects, which is really just a band-aid cure for doing the hard work of what I really need to do. My goal of the last week is serotonin. There's a bunch of feel-good molecules, but guess what? I lean towards endorphins and dopamine. That is where my natural is. I'm not really in the peaceful serotonin serotonin and joy. I'm in the high pace, go, 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 motivation, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this week we're going to be in serotonin, oxytocin. I always want to call it Oxycontin, which is awful. So that means time with my friends, being in the moment, being present, enjoying my routine. Like when sometimes, I make these like pumpkin muffins. I was like, romanticize making the pumpkin muffins. Don't just make it to make it. When I'm with my friends, be with my friends, hug my friends, enjoy the moment, just be. And that was my goal for this last week. But also like, I can't make that my goal. Like you wanted me to such a funny thing. You're doing nothing, not optimizing, just being. But it was like not me sitting there like, oh, look how much I'm recovering, how much good and how a balanced girl I am. Just be, Keltie, just be. Rest is a radical act of self-love in a world that glorifies exhaustion. Now, leading to my last few days, could I end up in a rut? Maybe. Because this is also the thing. It's like, this is what I want to try for 30 days, but this means this is downhill? Is this the end? I'm never going to do another challenge, never going to optimize myself? No. So how do we get out of a rut? From Graham Weaver at Stanford. I thought this was an amazing thing because acknowledgement of even though you're doing a lot, you can be in a rut. I was burnt out in a rut, and yeah, I was doing things, I was taking on more. I wasn't just doing the work. So 1, figure out what I'm avoiding. And that's whatever it is, figure it out and go do that. 2, where to start. Translate your goals into something very small you can do today. 3, how do I win today? Write 3 things you can do today that will move you forward. Repeat tomorrow. 4, what habits are interfering with where I want to go? Leaning into the last day, I'm realizing I think I need to reevaluate. I have this constant feel on my YouTube, you've probably seen it, of like, oh, I need to start a second YouTube channel and I need to do more. And I think one big issue, and going back to that Casey Neistat quote, is this like not direction. I started this YouTube channel because I just love YouTube. I started with reviewing workout clothes and classes and then, doing some challenges that I was interested in. And I think I've never really had like a very tight knit one concept show that I did. And I think I sometimes fantasize about that and how simple it would be and just streamlined. And so that's why I'm constantly trying this new project and this and this. And I think I felt really lost, and I felt lost with my music, and I felt lost with my YouTube, and I started series and they couldn't complete. And I did this and this and this. And, I think it's also just kind of stepping back and be like, I love this channel. I love creating music. I love working out. Just go back to that. Those are my things. Those are my passion. I think that's what makes me as an individual. And I had this aha moment, and this is really selfish of me, but I'm going to do it anyways. I felt really lost. I was like, I don't know what this channel is. Like, I know it's just a journey of my life and these things I'm interested in, and I post it, but can I ask you, I'm sorry, I'm not one to ask for help, but this is Keltie putting on her big girl pants and asking for help. Why did I just cry there? I know you're busy. You don't have to. If I've ever asked for something from you guys, I would love, because this would help me. So I really don't ask for help. This is so awkward. It's so simple. Because I know you're busy. I know you got other things to do, but maybe if your laptop's open and the comment section's easy. Why is it so hard? Could you leave a comment of how you define my channel and why you watch? And that would mean a lot to me, because sometimes, I think I just need a little help with that. I love this channel. But I think I've just felt a little lost, and I kind of was like, what do I do? And then I had this aha moment of like, I have the best resource. I have a comment section. I have all you listening. I'm so thankful for, and I feel very selfish just doing this. But yeah, why is this so hard? That was my epiphany at the end of doing 30 days, and it was really simple. And I just think I was like, you just need to go back to your basics. Why you make YouTube, why you make music. You don't need to do 1,000 things, and just get back to the enjoyment of it. And I've been really enjoying my channel the last few months and having fun with it. And, I think where I'm leaning towards is like, I think where I can stand in this world and be helpful is just be a resource for you guys, for the consumer, of like testing things and trying them. And occasionally there'll be a challenge I want to put myself through, but I think there's such an abundance of things right now, online and marketing. And I was like, I think one resource I can be is just testing these things to see if they're actually worth it for you guys. And then at the end of the day, just entertaining you. But yeah, if you have the time, and if you don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. I'm sure there's at least a comment. You have the time and you're bored, I'd really appreciate it. And I'm going to say one more quote that I also listened in a podcast that maybe will help some of you. And it was a eye-opening of this doing nothing challenge of, I don't need to do more. I can rely on my habits. stay the course, do what I need to do, ask for help, lean it to my friends. It's okay. Like, it feels good helping someone. I love when I can help someone. So I'm actually denying my friends and family when I don't ask for help because they love helping. Of course, you can't go to the extreme, but I think even with habits, I think we are scared of not doing more because we think we'll fall off. We're scared of asking for help because we think we're going to become a burden. Like, if you're questioning those things, if I'm questioning those things, I think that's a sign that you're not going to abuse it. And the quote from the podcast is, I don't need to do more suffering. And you don't need to do more suffering. For whatever reason, I think if you're listening to this, you already know the David Goggins grind. Like, and that's your natural. I know for me, that's my natural place to be, but I don't think that's always helpful. I did nothing for 30 days. I didn't actually do nothing. I know. And those are the things I learned. Maybe with the New Year's, kind of organize your life a little, simplify. Maybe you don't need to do more and more and more. Maybe you just need to simplify and trust yourself. Because if you're watching this, you probably know. I trust you. I don't know how to wrap it up. I think this was just what I needed. This is what I needed, and it feels good, and I feel realigned with what's important to me, my creativity, and just, that's it. Have a great day. Go pet a dog. Love you guys. Bye.